Hello, my name is Kurt Brown, also known as Saint Rambo, and I have a website titled Mobile Audit Club. I was watching the video on torture. I have been forcibly injected on numerous occasions since 2001. I was a federal bank examiner for the United States government. I would work for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. A regional director had been killed in his office around early 1990. He was killed with his own gun in San Francisco. He worked for the FDIC. They called it a suicide. I think he was murdered. I went to work the FDIC in San Francisco and in Sacramento office in Roseville, and I observed what was obvious money laundering. I saw casino operators coming over from Nevada, opening up banks, getting their own bank charters. I saw bank presidents sweating when I was in the office, but we could not prove anything because of collusion and technology. When you have people in the government itself who are involved in money laundering and murder, you cannot stop it. We're in an era of high technology and war. I saw them holding that one man pulling his nose up like that. That happened to me in Mobile, Alabama, for simply trying to participate in my government. I've explained what happened on numerous videos of mine, how that came to be. I was in fear for my life and the government did not respond. An attack had been made on my life. They responded by injecting me and torturing me. The regime in power is stealing huge amounts of gambling revenues, or assisting in the stealing of gambling revenues that should be used in taxes for the American people. And they're laundering it through banks that have charters and have been approved for that explicit purpose by the federal government, both in the Treasury and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. In 2001, I was forcibly injected with 2 injections that I am aware. I was also forced to sign documents. I was threatened with a lifetime incarceration in an insane asylum simply because I had reported money and money laundering and was investigating the replacement regional director. I've come to believe this is a technological war. I saw the man in the video I'm responding to urging Americans to respond back, to retaliate. I urge you to beware. What you might think you see, you may be deluded. What you think you see may not be what you see at all. The only person you may be hurting is people like myself and other people who have a humane conscience. He's right that some people are like serial killers. I was ejected again in 2004 with 2 injections that I'm aware of. Under Chapter 36 law in Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada, there's a clause that states people can have you forcibly injected. I may have been raped at the Flagstaff Medical Center in retaliation for my reporting money laundering and murder. I was held for 5 hours before I was ever injected. What I did was, I viewed a hazmat crew on the side of the road in New Mexico after driving through Texas. I then noticed a burn on my neck. I was curious about what happened. There had been an explosion in Texas only a week or 2 before, claiming to be a huge oil refinery. I was very suspicious. I saw some other activity, road gangs in New Mexico, on that day when I was passing through. And when I had the burn on my neck and I saw the hazmat crews, I did not know what was going on. America has become a cesspool. The government is not a democracy. They abuse us. What can be done? I'm not sure. All I can say is protect your young. We're in a technological war. When I was injected in Flagstaff, they took me to an insane asylum for reporting what I knew. For 3 days for observation, they can do this. They charged me $2,500. During that time, while I was there, I was given a room to sleep in. That night, someone was checked into the room. I believe I might have been injected again. I remember being injected another time in Flagstaff, so that would be 3 known injections. I believe I was raped that night in retaliation. I am not intimidated by this. I want all gambling establishments shut down in the United States and any coming conflict with regime and power. All gambling establishments must be shut down. It's part of the problem, but not the whole problem. They're involved with the drug importation, in particular heroin and cocaine. This goes into the federal government. There's huge amounts of money in money laundering. It's taken over from the top. We cannot even know what we are looking at due to technology. I will attempt to enter my native city's government, Mobile, Alabama, once again. They have denied my entry since 2001, since my reporting an attempt on my life when the federal government would not respond to that attempt. I contacted the FBI, the Secret Service, Department of Justice, and many other federal agencies. Not a single one of them responded. They responded by having my gun permit taken away. Then when I fled Alabama, this was after an attack on my life in 2001. When I fled Alabama, I went back to Los Angeles where I was stationed in the military. I thought I could trust the Veterans Administration there, so I parked on their property near the LA VA graveyard in Westwood. What they did to me was inject me. It was a federal agent. It was not a VA officer. I was made very sick by those injections. I encourage young people not to serve the United States military, not to trust him. I encourage young parents not to let their children go to the public schools. Not that I have anything against the public schools. I have no many school teachers. They can work in private schools. I encourage the end of the indoctrination of the Pledge of Allegiance with the lies of liberty and justice for all. Just yesterday, I saw jets fly over at Mobile, Alabama. They were leaving chemtrails or contrails. 1, 2, and another one across the center. That means not equal. I think someone was giving us a message. Who knows whether it was deliberate? I started feeling very ill after that. I do not know what they have done to me. In the world of chemistry, you can create reactions. After Christmas of 2007, on December 27th, 28th, and 29th, I was alone in my home. I had no dogs, no other people here. The federal government had gotten my cell phone number, had demanded it, and knew the number to my home. They knew I was alone. On December 28th and 29th, I believe someone may have come in my house, in particular on December 29th. On this night of December 28th, I believe they might have too. I'm not sure. But on this night of December 29th, I believe someone came in my home. I heard rattling on my door. I went back to sleep, thinking it was nothing. The next day, I awakened. I felt very strange. I went to the bathroom. I had blood on my anus. I also had a mark on the back of my head that was very sore, like an injection of some sort. I have it on a video, under the same trombone videos here on YouTube. I believe I may have been raped. As I said, I'm not sure. But I remember someone being in the home, but I have so much post-traumatic stress from those bastards in the federal government of the United States that I am traumatized. I hope to leave the United States. I hope to go to a country that's not ruled by that international regime. We Americans do not have control of the government. We have some people who are like serial killers. I met a serial killer named Randy Kraft, K-R-A-F-T, in 1983. 2 weeks later, he was found with a dead Marine in his car. He tried to get me to drink from his bottle. He tried to have sex with me. I declined both. Had I done either, I'd probably be dead. I encourage you to beware of the federal government and the regime and those people in control, or that thing in control, just as you would if you were dealing with a serial killer. I urge you to beware in their federal buildings. I urge you to beware. Just in Mobile, Alabama recently, they found semen inside a closet in a judge's chambers. When I went to court in 2004 for attempting to exact my rights under open meetings law, I went to Judge Michael McMakin's court. That night I came home and I spit out blood. A large chunk came from somewhere. I spit out a large chunk of dried blood. It was big. what happened in that court